Escape from Tarkov's Day 3 pre-wipe event has begun, and it's somewhat redeeming over yesterday's. A little bit of a disappointment in terms of the release yesterday, which you can have a look at the full details. It's essentially that they removed the flea market and boosted some of the loot, which is good and somewhat bad. I don't see the point in removing the flea really. For most people it doesn't really make a huge difference, but it just seems like a weird thing to do anyway. But essentially they've introduced 100% boss spawn rate on all of the different maps. It doesn't mean that all bosses are going to spawn on each of the different maps, but what it does mean is that there is going to be a boss on every single map that you do play in PvP. But there's also an additional thing. Every single one of the SCAVs that you'll be playing up against will have better gear, and we're talking they're going to have good weapons, they're going to have good gear, and so when you're fighting them you're going to be able to extract with that gear should you wish to upgrade some of yours if you're playing with worse gear, or maybe you don't have access to some of the better gear in the game. You'll be able to grab some off of SCAVs and extract that way, and then you can go and PvP. Obviously there's going to be a lot of PvPing around where the bosses do spawn, and this is available on every single one of the different maps that is in the game. So Shoreline, Factory, all of these, you're going to have Tagilla, Killer, Glue Car, all of the different ones depending on the maps that you're playing. And so if you're down to go and farm the last few kills in order to get tracksuit, for example, maybe you wanted to complete that this wipe, you might be able to do it just that little bit easier now. But it's not the biggest thing in the world today, but they all usually do stack up, and we're going to see some better bonuses tomorrow, which I think is a good thing for the game. But if you have any questions or you want to add a little bit of extra information, as this is relatively early information coming out directly after the release of the actual event itself, then put it down in the comment section, bearing in mind that this is all for PvP only and is not affecting PvE. There is no PvE events for the pre-wipe. PvE is a completely separate mode and is not wiping. There is no wipe on PvE, so you're not going to be able to get any of the benefits of this. And as we already know, on PvE the boss spawn rates are pretty high anyway, so you know it's not going to make a huge difference to us who do actually play the PvE game mode. But for PvP players it should be a pretty good kind of addition to the ongoing events that are currently in the game, and just to test out and try out PvP or come back and actually play in order to get a bit of practice in before the next wipe. Usually the pre-wipe will last about a week or so, or maybe slightly less, and then they'll actually wipe the game and we'll be able to play the brand new wipe of Tarkov. So if you want to see some content surrounding the actual wipe and the early game wipe guides, tips and that sort of thing, then make sure to subscribe down below. But also like this video, and if you want to see me live streaming, which I'll be doing over the weekend and Fridays and Mondays, then be sure to follow me on Twitch. Link is in the description, and I will see you there.